guys, welcome on this new Coach Live Academy Leg Guide. I'm Corentin Guinez, and today we are with the Aston GT4 for the Falcon Sports Car Series, and we are on the Zandvoort club layout. So yeah, as usual, first I'm gonna go with the hot lap, and then I'm gonna go into more details about the car and the track. So yep, let's get started. Alright guys, you go for the lap around Zandvoort with the Aston GT4. For the first corner, I'm basically braking just between, like, you have the white line, which is basically, I don't know what this is really, but you have like that white line just right there with the red line just in front, and then you have the 100-meter board just on the left side. So basically, I'm just trying to brake just in between them. So as you can see, at that point, I still can see the 100-meter board, and then I'm going past through this board, and then as you can see, I'm just having the white line just on top of the bottom of the windshield. So that's pretty much what I'm aiming for my braking reference. And then for the apex of for the entry of this corner, I'm just basically gonna try to wait a bit to have the chance to carry a bit more speed, because as you can see, it's getting downhill at that point. So basically, I'm just gonna try to use the fact that it's going downhill to just be able to carry a bit more speed through the corner, and basically just having also a better exit. So just as you can see, just waiting a bit, not going fully on the inside straight away to aim for the apex, just going a bit wide on the entry. So then I staying on the brakes. Obviously, you have to brake a bit more and also a bit longer, because it means that with the downhill, it means you carry more speed. So you have to be a bit more stronger on the brakes or a bit longer on the brakes. No, like it depends of your the way you do it. But yeah, for me, I prefer to stay a bit longer, because you will have more risk to hit the ABS if you go just stronger on the brakes on the entry, and also missing rotation. So there, as you can see, just releasing the brakes on the steering, and then I'm just gonna go step by step on power, just trying to find the rotation. But as you can see, I'm just trying to be a bit patient on power to not get some wheel spin and also some slides, because it's really easy with these conditions. I don't really know what's the conditions actually, but yeah, it's like full completely damp. So yeah, that's why maybe it got a bit like slippery after a few laps. So yeah, the main target, it seems like with these conditions, and I don't know if it will be the same conditions during the race week, but it's really important to be kind on the rear tires, because it's really easy to get a lot of missing a lot of traction with them actually. And then as you can see on the exit, using all of the curbing on the exit. And now I will stay all the way to the left for the next right hander, which is right there. So what I'm doing just before this corner is that I'm using all of the curbing, at least most of the curbing on the left hand side. And then I'm gonna go through on the curbing, and then as soon as it gets a bit flat towards the end of the curbing, then at that point I'm gonna just go on the brakes, find the rotation, and then steer to the right side. As you can see, it gets flattened. Then on the brakes, just trying to find the rotation, just trying to avoid that inside curb, because it's really easy to make the car bounce on it, and then you're just off the track. And then pretty early on power to just be able to carry the momentum, because as you can see, it's going a bit uphill. So if you just stay on the brakes all the way, you will be a bit too low on the speed and also a bit too low on the revs as well. So it's just great to go a bit earlier on power, and then just trying to find the rotation, just staying away from this curb. It's not necessary to go over this curb, because I'm just I'm just also thinking about the next corner, which is the banking, even if it's not the F1 actual banking. But I just need to think about the next corner, and I guess I'm going mid corner when I'm entering this one. So if I'm I'm too wide on the exit of this one, then it means I need to be really aggressive on my steering to go a bit to the right to rejoin a bit the middle of the track. And it's not ideal because then I have to brake and stuff. And if you just upset too much the car before the braking, then it's gonna be mess up a bit your corner. So I'm just gonna try to stay in the middle of the track, as you can see. Maybe just the first half, I would say, in the middle of the first half of the track. Then I'm going on the brakes. As you can see, I will go tiny bit wide, but not that much. I'm pretty most of the time staying close of the curbing, but as you can see, really close now. Then just going a bit wider, and then just having a sort of double apex. So then it helps me to have basically being a bit wide helps me actually to have a better exit, because then it means I will put a bit more steering, as you can see. Just more steering now in the middle of the corner, but then it means like I will put a lot of steering, but then I can straighten the wheel and then find all the traction. So that's pretty the key on this one. And it's almost the key everywhere, actually, on every track with these cars. Just most of the time when you have hairpins and stuff, it's just better sometimes to go a bit wider in the middle, so then you can straighten the wheel a bit more easier on the exit and find a better rotation. And then as you can see on the exit, just trying to find the rotation out of the throttle, and on the exit just using all the curbing like T1. Actually, it's the same curbing. Then for this one, it's pretty tricky because as you can see at that point, I still cannot really see the entry. Even if I think you can see it like just on the right side, like just on top of the grass, like you can see a bit the track where it's going. But with the fog, it's kind of difficult to like see the actual line, because just behind you also have like the GP layout. So it's pretty difficult to see what's the difference between the club layout and the Grand Prix layout. So what I'm doing for this one is that I'm not really going to focus on the actual club layout, because you cannot really see it, so it's just gonna be a bit messy to look at this. But what I'm doing is that I will just try to look at the track, and basically I'm just gonna look at the tire marks. I know that it's not the best way to do it, but actually it's one of the advantage of the sim, that some things doesn't really change on the tracks. So what I'm doing for this one is that I'm actually using this tire marks just right there, not the first ones, but as you can see, there is like a sort of gap between this first tire marks and then the second tire marks just right there at that point. So what I'm doing for this one is that as soon as I'm getting close of it, when the second part of the tire marks going under the bonnet, I'm just gonna start to brake. Just need to be kind of the brakes, because as you can see, it's going downhill, so it's really easy to upset the back of the car. And as you can see, I'm on the middle of the track. I'm not sure if going like wider is a good thing for this one. Actually, I maybe prefer to have pretty much the same approach as the airpin we had before. So basically, a bit closer to the apex, then going a bit wider, and then once again getting my second apex. Even if I'm a bit wider on the entry there, as you can see, I'm just trying to focus on the exit. Just trying to at least get right my second apex, and then I will just try to like straighten the wheel. So I'm just gonna go back again, just trying to find the rotation on the brakes, trying to stay kind of close off the inside, and then I'm just playing a bit with the throttle to find the rotation. Need to carry the speed, and then as you can see, I'm just trying to find like the right angle with my steering wheel to make sure I'm not getting any wheel spin or losing any traction, because I need to just go on power to find the momentum as well, and also find the rotation, as it can get a bit understeery with the front engines. And then as you can see, just trying also to manage the power to not get wheel spin, because even if you're really kind on the steering wheel, like it's anyway a bit easy to have the wheel spin. And like I said, it's getting very slippery very early in the stints, it seems. So yeah, if you are not kind with the tires, then you're gonna have a lot of pain for the 20 minutes, the last 20 minutes of the race. So then just using a bit the curbing, like just the bit of curbing you can actually use, because you exit pretty much really late of this corner and you don't have that much curbing to use. Then as soon as I can't see the end of the curbing, I'm just gonna go on the brakes, starting to steer on the inside, and then I'm gonna use as much as I can of the inside curb. I think as soon as you stay away from the grass, even if I'm pretty aggressive on the entry, but this one was not enough track. So I guess as soon as you stay away from the grass, like in the middle of the corner, and I think that the entry and the exit doesn't matter. As soon as you stay away from the grass, which is it should be like sort of line just like this. As soon as you stay away from this, it should be fine. It should not give you enough track. So yeah, you have to be greedy, but I guess you have to find your own limits during the practice sessions you will do, and then you should be able to find that limit. But yeah, like I said, as soon as you stay away from the grass on the inside, it's okay. So then using a lot of curbing, just trying to be smooth on throttle. Then need to move quickly to the left. The idea there is just to get just to let the car roll on the curbing because it helps to find the rotation. And then as you can see, just playing a bit between the brakes and the power. But then as soon as I'm having the right speed and I'm not gonna go off my line, I just can go back on the power. But same, I need to manage my power because actually on the curbing it's really bouncy, so it's really easy to get wheel spin and stuff, and having the rear a bit unstable. So the main target there is just to like manage the power. As you can see, I'm not going completely flat straight away. I need to manage to just make sure I have the traction all the way. And then the idea there is to exit a bit tight for this one, because if you are a bit too wide, then as you can see, it's going, you have a sort of crest right there, and it can be a bit unstable for the car on the when you are off the crest. So the main target there is to avoid a bit that crest by going a bit more tighter on the exit of this long left hand corner. So then just on the curbing, just trying to avoid that crest, and then I'm just using most of the track on the exit of this one. So basically, if with that line, actually, you don't need to like really reach this second part of the curbing, because it doesn't feel really natural. Like it's not necessary to go fully on the right side. I mean, when you have a good exit like that and you have already the wheel straighten, there is no reason to go fully to the right side actually. So I don't think it's necessary to use it. So just using the red and white curbing, and then we are off the last part of the track. So basically, I'm just gonna brake like as soon as there is a gap between the grass and the white line. So as soon as I'm getting close to this point, pretty much, as you can see, there is a gap like between the grass and the white line. I'm just gonna brake at that point, and then at that point you also have like a sort of dip at that point. So, and yeah, I said at that point at least 3 times now. But yeah, just using that dip just there, and just on the brakes trying to find the rotation. Then using the inside curb, as you can see, just then on power. Like as soon as I'm hitting the inside curb, basically I'm just on power. But for this one, it's pretty difficult because most of the time when you carry too much speed on the entry, it means you're gonna go off. You really have to be kind on the entry. Like as you can see, just on the brakes, and then I'm really patient. Like most of the time, I mean, I think I could go on power as soon as I'm reaching the beginning of the curbing on the inside. But if I do this, I'm actually off the track on the exit. So on the brakes, just trying to find the rotation on the brakes, and then I'm just being a bit patient. I'm still on the brakes. Even if you think that you could go now on power and try to find the rotation, like I said, most of the time with the GT4, it's always very good to find the rotation with the throttle. But there, I'm just being a bit patient, because if I'm too greedy on the entry to find the rotation and also carry the speed on the exit, then I'm gonna go off. And also because the curbing is pretty tight on the exit, you don't have that much margin. Actually, it's not like the corner we saw before with the huge curbing that you are not really supposed to do, not really supposed to use completely. But there, it's really tight. So you really have to think about that exit and make sure you don't carry too much speed on the entry. So once again, just on the brakes, using the inside curb. I'm not using it completely because it means that if I'm going too deep on the inside, then I think I'm gonna use I will need to use more steering angle, and I don't know. That's not what you need for the exit, pretty much. And also because I think then it's mean I'm gonna go even wider with the speed I'm carrying on the exit. So it's already complicated enough with that line. So if you go too deep on the inside, then I think it's gonna be even more complicated, and you will completely ruin the exit for this one. Because actually the next one, the long right one, which is actually the new banking of the F1 now, is flat out. So if you just basically lose time on this one, then even if you're flat out in the next one, you will lose pretty much the speed all the way until T1. So now just fully on power using the curbing, just making sure that I'm not touching the gravel, which is really close. But actually, if you do it the way I told you, it's fine. And then you have that F1 banking, which is not the banking on iRacing, but it should arrive soon, I think. And as you can see, just flat out, just staying all the way on the inside, just trying to make sure I'm sticking a bit to the curbing. It's pretty much like if you saw the lap guy we made at Barber, it's pretty much the same, even if I'm not leaking completely the curbing, but I'm just using a bit I don't know how to say that, but just trying to follow the line of the curbing. So basically it helps you to find a bit the rotation, pretty much like the last sector of Barber. So it's pretty much the same approach, getting really close of the curbing. And then it helps you to find a bit the rotation. Then it's completely flat, just using the curbing on the exit. Just try to make sure you're not going too wide on the grass. Even if I think you can get away without leaving the off track if you go a bit wide on the grass, but it's better to avoid it. Maybe you can lose control, so we never really know. And yep, that's it for the lap around the Zandvoort club with the Aston GT4. Okay, guys, that's it for today for the lap guide around the Zandvoort club with the Aston GT4 for the week 5 of the Falcon Sports Car Series. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and also join the Discord server if you have any questions about the work we are doing. And yeah, I see you next time for week 6. Bye bye.